LeBron James just walked away from the Los Angeles Lakers, and he's not done playing. James has reportedly informed the Lakers that he plans to play for a different team during the 2026-27 season, with his agent Rich Paul confirming to ESPN that the franchise can move on without him. At 41 years old, with the whole NBA watching and the clock winding down on a career unlike anything the sport has ever seen, the moves he makes right now could define how history remembers him forever. So LeBron is leaving, and the question hanging over the entire NBA right now is, where is he going, and what does it mean for his place in history? The Los Angeles Lakers season ended with a sweep by the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder. LeBron James is at the end. His 2025-26 season is over. His tenure with the Lakers may have ended as well, and maybe even his career. That's the sentence nobody wanted to write, but that's exactly where we are. The Lakers suffered a sweep at the hands of Oklahoma City after falling short, 115-110 in Game 4 of their second-round series. The Lakers had multiple chances to extend the series, but James and Austin Reeves missed crucial shots in the closing minute, allowing the Thunder to escape and advance to the conference finals. LeBron had 24 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 assists, resting for only 8 minutes. That is 41 years old. 41, playing 32 out of 40 minutes in a playoff elimination game with everything on the line, and he was still the best Laker on the floor. He led the Lakers in points and assists against the defending champions, averaging 23.2 points, 6.7 rebounds, and 7.3 assists in 4 games. So here's the brutal irony. The numbers were there, the body was there, but the team wasn't, and the series ended the way people feared it would. Not with a bang, but with a sweep. Now, there are people who want to call this a failure, and those people are missing the point entirely. Despite his age and the advanced basketball miles on his body, James averaged 20.9 points, 7.2 assists, and 6.1 rebounds in 60 games. As one of the most productive players in the league, alongside Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, helping lead the Lakers to the number 4 seed in a stacked Western Conference. Stop. Reread that. The number 4 seed in the West at 41. As the third option, with Doncic and Reeves each sidelined for at least part of the Lakers' first-round series against the Houston Rockets, James took over to lead Los Angeles to a 4-2 win before the Lakers fell in the second round via a 4-game sweep by Oklahoma City. So he carried a shorthanded team past the Rockets, stepped aside when his superstar teammates were healthy, then stepped back up when they needed him, and still got swept. The Thunder are just that good. They're young, they're deep, and they're built for this moment. The Thunder's roster is full of players who were each younger than his 11-year-old daughter, Juri, when LeBron made his debut in the league 22 years ago. Think about that. That's not a team that LeBron lost to. That's father time, wearing a Thunder jersey. And now, the morning after the elimination, the questions, as usual, revolve around James's possible retirement. He has largely evaded the matter during the course of the season, and it will be interesting to see if he gives a more definitive answer now that the Lakers' campaign is over. He didn't retire. He's running it back, just not with the Los Angeles Lakers. His agent Rich Paul confirmed James will play elsewhere for the 2026-27 season, per Shams Charania. James spoke with Lakers president Rob Pelinka about his decision before the start of free agency, out of courtesy and appreciation for their run together. Courtesy after 8 years, a phone call, and then the door closed. The Lakers shared a message from team president Jeannie Buss on X, thanking James for his 8 years with the team. LeBron James is one of the greatest athletes in history. We will always be thankful for his 8 years with the Lakers, including the title he led us to in 2020 under the toughest imaginable circumstances. A gracious farewell, but underneath it, a thunderclap. Because now the most important question in basketball isn't whether LeBron can still play. It's where he goes next. And whether that decision, more than any game, more than any playoff loss, is what people remember when they talk about who he was. Before we get into where LeBron is going and what it means, we need to fully understand what he's already done. Because the argument about his legacy isn't being made in a vacuum. It's being made against the backdrop of a career so historically enormous that it's almost impossible to comprehend while it's still happening. At 41, James is already the league's oldest player and has passed Vince Carter for the most seasons played, eclipsed Robert Parrish for the most games played, and long ago put Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the rearview for the most points scored in NBA history. Each of those records deserves its own documentary. Most seasons, most games, most points. And he holds all three at the same time, while still playing. Closing the 2025-26 regular season, his scoring total stood at 43,440 career regular season points, a number so far ahead of anyone else alive that it doesn't register as a competition anymore. It's a monument. You don't compete with it, you just look at it. The NBA's all-time points leader extended his historic playoff record to 8,428 playoff points. During the series against the Houston Rockets, that's 8,000 points just in the postseason. Michael Jordan, the man whose legacy LeBron has spent 2 decades being measured against, finished his career with 5,987 playoff points. Jordan is second on the playoff scoring list with 5,987, and Kevin Durant and Stephen Curry are the only other active players in the top 10. More than 3,000 points behind LeBron. 3,000 points. That's not a gap. That's a canyon. Back in January 2025, James put up 30 points and 8 assists in a win over the Hawks, surpassing Michael Jordan for the most 30-point regular season games in NBA history. Then in February, he recorded a season-high 42 points in a win over the Warriors, becoming the oldest player ever to score 40 or more points in a game. Every time you think the records have all been broken, he finds a new one. But here's where it gets complicated, because legacy in basketball has never been about just one number, or even one category of numbers. It's about rings. It's about moments. And for LeBron, it's about a conversation that has followed him literally from the moment he arrived in the league. Having entered the NBA as the most hyped high school athlete in history, James wrote the blueprint for exceeding the types of expectations that felled so many before him. With 22 straight All-Star selections, all-time leading playoff scorer, most first-team All-NBA selections, 22 straight All-Star selections. Not one era of dominance, not one peak. 22 consecutive years of being considered one of the best players in the world. That doesn't happen. That has never happened. And yet here we are, in 2026, talking about where he plays next season. James ushered in the era of player empowerment, showing that you can start companies, mix it up in politics, and elevate the people around you, all while playing like the GOAT of your game. That matters. It matters because the legacy question isn't just about the court. It's about what a player built while they were playing. And LeBron built an empire. Forbes' latest estimate puts LeBron's real-time net worth at roughly $1.4 billion. $1 billion from basketball, from media, from business. From being relentless about controlling his own story at every turn. Todd Boyd, professor of race and popular culture at the University of Southern California, put it plainly. I don't think it's a stretch at all to say LeBron is one of the most important athletes in American history and one of the most important Americans of the 21st century. That's a USC professor, not a fan, not a pundit, a scholar of American culture saying that LeBron James belongs in a conversation that goes beyond basketball. So then why? With all of that, are we asking whether he's about to ruin his legacy? The answer is because of what he's about to do next. LeBron James is a free agent right now, as of this moment, and the NBA offseason has never felt more like a referendum on one man's place in history. For the first time in 8 years, LeBron James's future is legitimately up in the air. 8 years. That's how long it's been since people genuinely didn't know where he was going to play. The last time the league went through this kind of LeBron free agency drama, it reshaped the entire landscape of professional basketball. And now it's happening again, at 41, with his legacy hanging in the balance. The Warriors are the current favorites to land James in free agency with -500 odds per DraftKings, with the Cavaliers at +300, the Heat at +1,000, and the Spurs at +2,000. Those numbers tell you everything about where the conversation is focused. Golden State, Cleveland, two teams, two completely different stories, two completely different legacy implications. Let's start with Golden State, because that's where the noise is loudest. The Warriors are at the front of the line in pursuit of LeBron James, per an NBA insider Mark Stein. ESPN's Shams Charania reported that the Warriors had a goal to assemble a big four of James, Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, and Anthony Davis. Curry, LeBron, Green, Anthony Davis, under one roof, on one team, in what would effectively be the most star-studded collection of basketball talent assembled in the free agency era. The kind of lineup that makes the internet break. LeBron joining Stephen Curry and Green has been nothing more than a dream for the Warriors in recent years. This offseason, Golden State is attempting to make that dream reality, with James being an unrestricted free agent. And Draymond Green made a move that spoke louder than any press conference. Green declined his $27.7 million player option, becoming a free agent, providing the Warriors with more financial flexibility to pursue the LeBron deal. That's a loyalty play. Green essentially gave up the security of that contract because he wanted to be part of whatever Golden State was building. He wants LeBron. The front office wants LeBron. The city wants LeBron. Brian Windhorst said it directly on Get Up. The Warriors told Jimmy Butler they're not trading him. I think the focus right now is, can they get LeBron James away from the Lakers? That's something they're going to try to get done today. But here's where it gets complicated. Reports confirmed the Warriors are trying to not only sign James with their $15.1 million non-taxpayer mid-level exception, but also trade for Anthony Davis, currently employed by the Washington Wizards, to form a veteran quartet aimed at trying to maximize the latter days of the Hall of Famers' careers. The problem? It doesn't look like the Davis trade is going to happen, at least with the Warriors. The Wizards reportedly aren't interested in a possible deal, and the Warriors do not want to trade Jimmy Butler, whose salary would help offset the cost of acquiring Davis. So the grand plan is cracking, but the chase for LeBron alone isn't stopping. And then there's Cleveland, quiet, patient, emotionally loaded Cleveland. There has been speculation that James could opt to return to the Cavaliers to potentially close out his career with his hometown team, where he played the first 7 years of his career and won his third NBA title in 2016. The Cavs reportedly have interest in a second reunion. According to insider Chris Haynes, his second stint with the Cavaliers resulted in 4 straight finals appearances and the heralded 2016 title. That broke a 52-year championship drought for pro sports teams in Cleveland. Multiple league and Cavs team sources believed that if James wants a third stint, Cleveland will make it happen. The hometown, the history, the closure. Footage even emerged of LeBron James spotted back in Northeast Ohio, and ESPN, Cleveland was quick to put it on the timeline. He was just there, in Ohio, saying nothing. And that silence said everything. Now we get to the heart of it, the part that the legacy debate always comes back to. The rings. The only item of significance left for James to achieve in the NBA would be to tie or pass his legacy rival Michael Jordan's total of 6 NBA championships. With his age 42 season approaching, that prospect is a long shot at best. 4. That's what LeBron has. 4 championships. Jordan has 6. That gap, 2 rings, has been the central argument for the people who refuse to put LeBron at the very top. And now, at 41 years old, heading into what could be his final season, he's still chasing. That drive is what makes this whole situation so fascinating and so fraught. Because the decisions he makes in free agency aren't just basketball decisions. They're legacy decisions, and every move carries risk. Go to the Warriors and lose? You're the guy who joined another super team at the end and still couldn't win. Go to Cleveland and fall short? You're the guy who came home for the storybook ending and couldn't deliver the closing chapter. Stay out of the game? You're the guy who quit at 41, 2 rings short of Jordan, leaving the debate permanently unresolved. There is no clean path. There is only the path he chooses. The Lakers franchise may go in an entirely different direction, choosing instead to build a younger squad around star Luka Doncic. Whatever the answer, James will find a limited market, with just the Brooklyn Nets, Chicago Bulls, and Lakers projected to have significant spending power under the salary cap. His days of earning over $50 million a season may be over. That's a sentence that lands differently when you remember he was making over $50 million a year just this past season. The market is contracting, the leverage is shifting, and yet the hunger clearly hasn't. The story of where James will play for 2026-27 began last June, when his longtime agent told ESPN's Shams Charania that James would exercise his player option for 2025-26 with the Lakers. Rich Paul said plainly at the time, "LeBron wants to compete for a championship. Compete for a championship. That's it. That's the whole thing. Not a celebration tour. Not a farewell season. A championship. At 41, against teams built from youth and depth and hunger." A younger group of superstars, including perennial MVP Victor Wembanyama, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Nikola Jokic, have supplanted James at the top of the league. But James remains an all-star level contributor and a proven winner who can make a difference. That tension between what the league has become and what LeBron still is the exact tension that makes this free agency so different from any other. He's not chasing the league. He's not delusional about his place in it. He knows exactly what he is right now. A weapon, not the weapon, and he's trying to find a team that can build around him being exactly that. James told reporters after the Lakers' final playoff loss, "I was put into some positions I never played in my career. Actually, in my life. I've never been a third option in my life. So, to be able to thrive in that role for that period of time, and then have to step back into the role that I've been accustomed with over my career. That was pretty cool for me at this stage in my career. Pretty cool." The man played 23 seasons in the NBA, won 4 championships, broke every record that could be broken, and he's calling the challenge of adapting to a new role at 41 pretty cool. That's not someone winding down. That's someone wired differently from every other human being who has ever played this game. Multiple executives from competing teams believe James can play until he's at least 45. The question is whether he'll want to. 45. 4 more years. 4 more chances. And the funny thing is, nobody who's watched him this season thinks that's impossible. So here's where everything lands, and here's why the legacy question is so much harder to answer than it seems. This offseason might be the Lakers' best chance to pivot as they look to build around Luka Doncic moving forward. They could have upward of $50 million in salary cap space even after factoring in Austin Reeves' cap hold. But that would require parting ways with James. The Lakers have already re-signed Reeves. The machine is already rolling forward without LeBron at the center of it. And there's a logic to that. There's a cold, franchise-first logic to it. Doncic is 26. He can be the face of the Lakers for the next decade. James is 41. He cannot. But here's the thing. LeBron didn't leave because the Lakers pushed him out. He informed the Lakers he is leaving and has not yet decided where he'll be playing next season, but felt it was time to move on. His call, his timeline, his terms. Even at the end, the man is controlling his own story. Rich Paul didn't name any team, but said, "Without naming names, I would say about 10 to 12 teams have made incoming calls about James's potential availability. The Warriors and Cavaliers have been named as 2 potential destinations. 10 to 12 teams at 41 after 23 seasons. In a league that has fully moved into its next generation, the fact that a dozen organizations are picking up the phone is itself a statement about what LeBron James still represents. Not nostalgia, but value. Real, win now. Change. The roster value. Even in the twilight of his career, James is still a major box office attraction. He had the 5th highest selling jersey in the league this year. And now that he's approaching retirement, fans may look at every game like it's one of their last opportunities to ever see him play. 5th in jersey sales. At 41, that's marketing. That's presence. That's a man who has never once lost the crowd. Now, the honest shape of the legacy question is this: LeBron has already done enough. Full stop. Add in his off-court accomplishments, and James may be the most influential athlete of the past half-century. That sentence doesn't need a ring count to be true, but the man himself won't let it rest there. Because he's still moving, still hungry, still making phone calls and sending signals through his agent and showing up in Northeast Ohio for reasons nobody has fully explained yet. James has been clear that he'll consider retirement only if his heart is no longer in it, and staying in the kind of physical shape required to compete at an elite level demands even more mental energy. His heart is still in it. Every single indicator points to that. The 40-minute games in May, the commitment to a third option role when the superstar demanded it, the immediate pivot to free agency exploration rather than a quiet retirement announcement. His heart is in it, and maybe that's the exact point where the legacy question flips on itself. Because people keep asking whether what he does next could ruin what he's built. But the alternative, walking away now, handing the debate to the historians without one final run, might feel worse to LeBron than any bad outcome a new team could produce. Media conglomerates were built on the back of James's controversies, debates, and slights. He carried the league into the social media and hot take era. It's his highlights, memeable moments, and sound bites that fed entire networks for 2 decades. That's the context. That's the world he built. And now, in the summer of 2026, that same media ecosystem is turning every rumor, every sighting, every silence into another chapter of the story he started writing in 2003. James remains an all-star level contributor and a proven winner who can make a difference, and he'll continue his run of unprecedented longevity and production through the 2026-27 season. So is LeBron about to ruin his legacy? Here's what the evidence actually says. No single free agency decision, no single season, no single playoff result, not even a sweep, is capable of undoing 23 years of the most sustained excellence in the history of American professional sports. The records are permanent. The rings are locked in. The influence on how the game is played, watched and understood, is cemented into the culture in a way that outlasts any one roster move. What's actually at stake isn't the legacy itself. It's the final image, the last frame. Whether this story ends with a championship, with a brave exit from a team that fell short, or with a homecoming that meant more than the scoreboard ever could, it would be a shame for James to call it a career. He's still a high-impact NBA All-Star, despite his looming 42nd birthday in December. One more year, wherever it happens. That's what the league, the fans, and the man himself all seem to want. The greatest player of this era isn't leaving quietly. He's leaving the way he always has, on his own terms, toward the next challenge, while the whole world watches and argues and can't look away. That, more than any ring, is the